Hi, Tilty Carlson here. I love me a good music biopic, even if it's music that falls out of my normal comfort zone. At the end of last year, we got one of the most unusual and surreal biopics of recent years, that being a film about pop singer Robbie Williams, Better Man. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. This is part of the Paramount Presents collection. It's number 48, and this is an Amazon exclusive, apparently. So they have the cover art of Williams as he's depicted in the film on stage. As with all the other Paramount Presents releases, there is a fold-open cover depicting alternate artwork from the original poster. Back of the slipcover, there's the two spines. You see the title of the film, the Paramount Presents logo, as well as the number 48. Under the slipcover, basically the same art. We do get a digital code of the film. There's also an ad on the back for some other 4K releases from Paramount. We get the film in 4K Ultra High Def as well as on Blu-ray. And both the 4K and the Blu-ray include the bonus features. And here's the art underneath, presenting a panorama of one of the best scenes from the film, as well as a few other photos to fill out the sides. The most original musical ever made, the Oscar-nominated Better Man, is a moving story about fame, recovery, relationships, and redemption. This ultimate antidote to the sanitized biopic genre, this powerful and soul-stirring movie from director Michael Gracie will touch your heart whilst remaining honest and raw to its subject matter, entertainer Robbie Williams. Prepare to laugh, prepare to cry, but most of all, prepare to be entertained. Robbie Williams is somebody that I'm admittedly not overly familiar with. He's probably best known in the United States for recording the song Millennium. Oddly enough, that song actually does not appear in this film, so other than that, I didn't know a single Robbie Williams song going into this one, and I have to say, the movie actually did pleasantly surprise me. This is a movie that's certainly not afraid to be brutally honest. Even Robbie Williams himself, as the narrator, isn't afraid to take jabs at himself and admit to some of his lesser qualities. He claims that the movie is done in the way in which people see him, which might account for the reason he's depicted as a CGI motion capture chimpanzee throughout the film. This is certainly one of the oddest and most polarizing decisions made in a music biopic, but I have to say it certainly does make the movie stand out. And what's made even more interesting is he just blends in seamlessly with everyone else. Nobody acknowledges the fact that he looks like a chimpanzee. And that said, the movie does get quite deep. There are some very disturbing moments. Williams, of course, like a lot of entertainers, was no stranger to addiction, and this does show a lot of his moments of downfall, the collapse of his relationships, his personal life, and of course his struggle to get out there, be the best he can, and make some #1 hits. But of course he's surrounded by jealousy, including that of the man who gets all the credit in his previous boy band, Take That, and his love interest, who of course scores a #1 before him. So needless to say, Williams finds himself in something of a downward spiral throughout the movie. That said, though, despite the darker content, and this movie certainly does earn its R rating, the movie has some very funny moments as well. I mean, I was laughing out loud more than a few times throughout the movie, and not just because Robbie Williams is depicted as a chimpanzee. Music biopics are a dime a dozen these days. It seems like pretty much every entertainer is getting one, but I am glad to see that they did try something a little different here. I mean, at times it does feel a little too close to some of the biopic cliches, but at the same time, you have director Michael Gracie behind the cameras. This is the man who gave us The Greatest Showman a few years ago. Admittedly not a great film, but it did show that the man had a knack for making musicals. So in a way, I would say this movie almost feels like a cross between The Greatest Showman and Rocket Man, the Elton John musical biopic we got a few years ago. And there are some great musical choreographed sequences. I mean, you saw me show you the inside of the case there, which shows off a sequence of the members of Take That performing at Piccadilly Circus, and that's certainly one of my favorite scenes to come from this film. We see everything from Robbie Williams' troubled relationship with his father to him literally fighting his inner demons on camera. The movie, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, and it leaves you scratching your head wondering why the hell Robbie Williams looks like a chimpanzee. But I have to say, I certainly fell in love with Better Man. And even though I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Williams' genre of music, I'm certainly a little more curious about checking out some of the stuff that he's put out over the years. Better Man comes to 4K courtesy of Paramount in the Paramount Presents line. Like I said, this release is apparently an Amazon exclusive. Now, this was shot digitally and mastered at 2K, so this is an upscale. And there is a lot of, artificial film grain put in there to maintain a very distinctive filmic look despite being shot digitally. But don't let the fact that this is a 2K upscale fool you. This is a great looking disc. The addition of Dolby Vision, which is not used overly aggressively, gives it a nice little extra punch over its 1080p counterpart. There's plenty of detail in the image, but again, it is shot a certain way. It is shot, I guess, to look sort of nostalgic, in keeping with the times, and of course, seeing as how this covers so many years of Robbie Williams' life. But overall, again, despite being an upscale, I think it's a fantastic looking disc. Bonus features are admittedly a little sparse. We get 2 EPK-style featurettes, one that's just on the making and the production of the film, and one that's on the CGI motion capture chimpanzee effects. Both of these are actually done quite well, so even though they're not overly long, the bonus features total don't amount to any more than 45 minutes. They are worth watching at least once if you are a fan of the film. I've never quite seen a music biopic like Better Man before. I mean, I love seeing Robbie Williams not being afraid of admitting to some of the self-depreciating jabs heard throughout the film. The movie certainly hits a lot of emotional highs and lows, but the movie's also not afraid to make you laugh when it has to. So I can actually give this one a very high recommendation. Sadly, it bombed in theaters. The fact that Robbie Williams isn't a household name in the United States might be partially to blame for that, but it did underperform in the UK as well. I mean, according to Wikipedia, this movie cost about $100 million to make, but it only grossed about $25 million, give or take a few million. That said, though, I thought it was a great film, and it certainly deserves a second chance, so I'm giving this one a very high recommendation. There's no other movie quite like it. How about you? Were you a fan of Better Man? Have you seen this one yet? What do you think of the decision to depict Robbie Williams as a chimpanzee? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm T.J. Carlson. I'll see you next time.